Some of us may not like thinking of the organic code as a list of prohibitions. We may prefer to think of it as a system or a philosophy. But many of the farmers that I've worked with do see it as just a list of no's, but one that creates an interesting challenge for them, and they want to rise to the occasion. I want to talk about a few aspects of what they've developed and how it is pushing them towards greater sustainability. The first sustainability issue that our growers dealt with was over-applying phosphorus. Chicken litter is widely available in our state, and it was the go-to source for nitrogen for our organic growers as they began. But it's easy to see that we can over-apply phosphorus when we rely on chicken litter as the sole source of nitrogen for our crops. We can even end up with an overabundance of copper and zinc that can lead to toxicity problems. I work with conventional growers on the use of cover crops on their farms, but we often don't have the same economic argument for those growers as we do with the organic growers. If we look at the relative price of synthetic nitrogen versus the cost of using legume nitrogen in a conventional system, it's very hard to make it pay. In our area, we'd have to get at least 150 pounds of nitrogen out of the cover crop to be comparable to the prices they're paying for synthetic nitrogen. However, when we look at the organic growers who need to have a nitrogen source that's decoupled from phosphorus in many situations, then we're looking at feather meal and Chilean nitrate. And those prices are sufficiently high that it's very easy to make legume nitrogen the most economic alternative. As a result, organic farmers are doing whatever it takes to get legumes into their rotation. Here we see an aerial seeding of crimson clover into a soybean field prior to leaf drop, because it's so important to get that legume started on time to provide maximum nitrogen benefit to the succeeding crop. So organic growers are increasingly making their rotations more complex. In our area, a common rotation would be corn, soybean, corn, and then a double crop of wheat and soybean. Now we've already added cover crops to most of these farms, but now growers faced with a number of pest issues are looking at other ways of increasing the complexity of their rotation. Organic growers were amongst the very first to start planting canola, which has become a more widespread practice in our state now. They're also exploring alternative summer crops. We've had a number trying sunflowers. We've had some starting with hay. Certainly this would have been a practice going back decades, but at the current time we have almost no hay in rotation with row crops in our state. And now some growers have even gone so far as to put pasture and animals back into their row crop farm. Now that may not sound like a radical idea, certainly that would be a traditional practice, but if we look at the intensification and specialization that's been going on in farms for the past few decades, we have almost no farms left with animals that are capable of being integrated in with their row crops. And that alone, I think, pushes us towards more sustainability than almost anything I can point to, is the reintegration of crops and animals. And we find that the organic code is sort of, with its system of do nots, is naturally pushing us in a direction that a lot of scientists are saying is the direction we need to go. And finally, I think the organic code has pushed us towards sustainability in a completely unanticipated way. The majority of land in North Carolina is now leased out for farming. It's very hard to push long-term sustainability goals when farmers don't know what land they're going to be farming on year to year. But the organic code, with its 3-year transition, and also with the need for the complexity that we've just reviewed to make the rotation work, is a large investment of resources and time, and growers are unwilling to do that on land that they don't own. So we see now almost no land that's organically certified being farmed by any other than the landowner. And I think that long term will do more for conservation and sustainability than anything else we can do.